Okay, this is the instruction for the multimedia 1 and 2 final project that is due January 12th. So this project is supposed to be an infographic that represents your progress of learning and you as a Lincoln graduate. This is for your progress of learning presentation. It's a visual aid for your presentation. And all 11th grade students are expected to do this on January 16th. So your project requires the following: a photo manipulation in Photoshop, a complicated path imported from Illustrator. So this could be like a logo or something else that represents you, could be you drawn out. You have to have an icon set of some kind and documentation. Okay, I'm going to get into these details now. So, photo manipulation. What is photo manipulation? It is altering, retouching, making new art with photos or other raster art. So, raster art are things that are made out of pixels. So, that's like a JPEG or a photo, or if you take a picture of a drawing, it's, if it's made out of pixels, it's rastered. Okay, and that's important to know. All right, vectored art. We have talked about vectored art. This is primarily made in Illustrator. There are other programs that do this as well. But we use shapes and complicated shapes to make images with them. And so they're all primarily made out of math, not pixels. So they're made with points, lines, curves, and they're all based off of mathematical formulas. So when you go into Illustrator and you make a vectored graphic, that's what it's made out of. That's why it doesn't pixelate when you make it bigger. All right, your documentation needs the following items: an artist statement. I'm going to give you an example of that. Resource attribution. I'm going to give you some examples of that. And a statement of student learning. I'm going to give you an example of that. All right, so an artist statement, just so you know, is I want you to write about your infographic to help us understand what was your intention. And your intention should be more than just, hey, this lab made me do this assignment. It should speak about who you are and, the choices that you made and why you made them. That's it. Help us understand what you did and why you did it. Resource attribution. This section gives credit where credit is due, right? If you utilize somebody's resource, then you want to put that in there. If you make something really cool, you want to put that in there too. Okay, that's pretty much it. If you found stuff, share it. All right, statement of student learning. This is where you tell us what you learned and how you grew. Your statement should be related to the criteria of the rubric of your choice. I'm going to show you an example of this in a minute. So here I am in Photoshop right now. As you can see, I have portrait of a Lincoln teacher. If you look at this item, this is not text. It's been rasterized. It's been turned into pixels. It's not a font. It doesn't have the big letter T on it, and it's just words. So words that have been converted to pixels. I posted a brief video on how to do this in Photoshop. You already know about how to convert shapes in Illustrator. So if you do this in Illustrator and you import it, you can do it there. So we don't want to see any fonts in your file. So this is my file. As you can see here, I have groups for these little folders. Each of these folders, I'm actually going to pick the topmost one, the one that's at the top of the page, where it says craft questions. So this is a folder. It has different items within that folder. If you click on this thing, this is my Illustrator as a smart object. I imported this icon, and we will get in and see this in just a moment. Craft questions, that's text, right? But it's not a font. It's been pixelated. Same thing here with the blurb, and then this rectangle, as you can see, is a path or a shape. It's one that was native to Photoshop. I didn't pull this in from Illustrator. So let's take a look at this little smart icon right here. So I'm going to double click on this little icon and say OK. And then here is our little questioning guy. As you can see, there are a number of different paths, right? And even in here, as you can see, I have all of the images in here, but I embedded them one at a time. Each of these items are their own little thing. So you can see I use grouping and folders like this to organize my material. These guys are all in their own artboard. Let me show you that. So here's my 6 little guys. If I make a change in one of these things, it'll update it on or in my Photoshop file. Okay. So again, this is place embedded in Photoshop. Do not place linked, because if you do not include that linked file, I will not have access to it and I cannot give you credit for it. So make sure that you place embedded. All right. Let's see here, what else? So, so that's the Illustrator portion of it. I wanted to show you the Photoshop part of this. So, as you can see here, I have a number of different layers, and you might go, well, you know, that doesn't look photo manipulated. But if I remove all the layers that I used to photo manipulate, then you can see that there's a definite change. So that's pretty much what I did in here, and I did a little color correction as well. So if I were to make a change in here, see how I've got this little asterisk up top? If I were to make a change, it would update in my regular things. Don't say. I'm not going to say it because it didn't really make any changes. Okay. So I purposefully put this into a smart object so that if I were turning this in, I could see, or I should say my teacher could see the work that I had done to change this from its original image. Okay, so that's that. So this shows you how to do the Illustrator stuff. This shows you how to do the photo manipulation stuff. And I just figured an image of me that I photo manipulated would be the easiest way to meet that requirement. Same thing with the icon set. Icon set can be made either in Illustrator or Photoshop, but it seemed easier to make it in Illustrator to meet that requirement. Okay.